I just visited a few more book publishers in Malaysia, and most of them are educational book publishers. As for fiction, it's just super niche and it's just very rare. I didn't have any contacts at all in the publishing industry.
You were like a complete
Nobody, yeah. And I wanted to get an agent and all that first, but I just kept getting rejected, so I was so annoyed. In the end, you know what? I'm just gonna like open my own company. I had this like really ugly mock-up of the book. I emailed MPH support email. It was like support at MPH.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't even really being too optimistic about anything, but they replied. In all of my books, Daylight Dialogues, Midnight Monologues, My Medicine, it's filled with different genres of stories. I was just exploring all the genres and I was just challenging myself if I can do it all.
People tend to share a lot when we try. Because you're forced being in the same space with me now.
Yeah,
so we gotta talk something.
I just opened my
Alright, welcome back guys to another episode of On the Road. Today we have someone very special here.
Hello everyone, my name is Charissa Ong and I am a publisher slash author slash production manager at PlayStation.
Well, you got a lot of different roles. Can you say that you work for PlayStation now?
Yeah, I work at PlayStation.
Okay, because I actually asked another girl, she works in some luxury brand, and then she said, "Oh, I cannot mention my company names. Like,
yeah, I
cannot carry my company names outside of other contents."
Oh wow, so
it's fine.
Oh, PlayStation is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are an author, a publisher. Can you tell us more about like how do you become who you are today?
Okay, so I'm 32 now. 33 this year, 2025.
Hey, you're not that old.
Wow. So it's when I was 24, I actually started to do something that I could be proud of, because when I graduate from college, like every university student, I was just really lost and also heartbroken. Everyone breaks up in college.
Oh yes.
So I actually put a lot of effort and time and my emotions into reading actually at first, and I got inspired. So when you read a lot, somehow you just want to like express afterwards, because you want to like talk about your own interpretation as well of like pieces they've read. So I read a lot of Lang Lev and all. I realized that I wanted to try being a poet, an Insta poet. Okay. So I uploaded all my stuff on Instagram.
Okay.
And obviously it didn't have any traction at first, but over time, I started to collaborate with a lot of calligraphers and artists from all over the world, who would use my words and basically create beautiful artwork. And from there, it's just word of mouth. People started to follow me and started to really like my stuff online. Yeah, so it kind of launched from there because one comment said like, "Can I get your book?" I was like, "What do you mean?"
Idea.
And I started talking around in Malaysia, people I know who actually published. They discouraged me like crazy, saying like Malaysians don't read. But I understand too, because I was a book hater last time, long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah, and then and then I picked up Twilight and I'm like, wow, reading is fun. So from there I just visited a few more book publishers in Malaysia, and most of them are educational book publishers. So they publish textbooks, activity books, usually, because that's what brings in the money.
Yeah.
As for fiction, it's just super niche and it's just very rare. So he said, I had one advice. If you want to publish yourself, you want to publish multiple books, you might as well just create your own company. And then the way MPH distributors work last time as well, they do not deal with authors directly, so they need to deal with a
publisher.
Yeah, a company. To
okay.
invoice. So it's a very admin thing.
Yes.
So, but now they've changed their policy already. They actually deal with authors themselves.
Oh.
So, yeah, before that, I didn't have any contacts at all in the publishing industry.
You were like a complete
nobody. Yeah, and I had this like really ugly mock-up of the book that I wrote. I compiled all of my pieces, and I emailed MPH support email. It was like support at MPH.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't even really being too optimistic about anything, but they replied and like, okay, let's publish you.
Wow.
So not publish, but distribute for me.
You are the publisher.
Yeah, I became my own
publisher. Okay.
Yeah, because the distribution rates is quite unforgiving to authors. They take like a lot of the percentage from a book sale. actually.
You mean the distributor took a lot?
Yeah. They take a lot, like
Okay.
more than 50%.
Yeah, it's similar to what happened in cinema.
Yeah,
So,
right?
the
Can be up
distributor
to
would take a lot,
crazy.
60%. Yeah.
So 60, 80%, it's insane. So if I want a little bit more money to cover costs, better I be my own publisher. And I cover my own printing costs. They take a lot of the bulk of what you actually price it at the store.
But you also need to invest a lot
So I only had 5,000, 6,000 ringgit in the beginning.
to start a publisher. Publishing
to
company.
basically print myself, to start a company and everything. So I spent 0 ringgit on like social media marketing or stuff like that because I have no money. I was only 24. But I was very fortunate to have free press from Balkan Post, from Says, because they found my story very interesting. Like, oh, she's just 24 years old. Usually when people publish books, they are a bit more older. They have like lived life to the fullest and they're just sharing their experience in non-fiction ways. My story picked up and I was a bit nervous also, because it's cheaper to print more books than lesser. So I was a bit desperate to like sell off my first 1,000 prints.
So you printed 1,000 books at first with 5,000 to 6,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
What was that book called?
Midnight Monologues.
That was the first one?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I thought that was like at least the third, fourth one.
No, that's my first book, Midnight Monologues. And
I got the Daylight one.
Daylight is the second one.
Okay, I got the Daylight one. It's still with me. Yeah, but it's a gift from you because we shot the photographs for you, right?
And the video as well.
Like, in the video,
Video. I still have it. It's so cool.
Yeah, we went to like Fraser's. Okay. That was like before the MCO and everything.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so that the actual year you started publishing the first book was
2016.
2016. And you started a publisher to publish your own book.
Yeah.
And you do that you do that after MPS say yes to selling your book or like
distributing. So I actually wanted to get an agent. Traditionally, I wanted to submit my book to publishers. I wanted to get an agent and all that first, but I just kept getting rejected. So I was so annoyed. In the end, you know what? I'm just gonna like open my own company. But I always tell people just try the first way out first because running a company is very difficult.
Yeah, because now your focus is not just writing. You're gonna focus on sales and
marketing,
cover
PR.
the costs and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
exactly.
that turning for me, I share some sort of sentiment because I also turning my passion into a career.
Yeah.
So we started making videos and then I got a production house and everything. So what does that feel to turn your passion, something you like to do, into a work thing? Do we kill off the passion? Some people say yes to that. What's your thought?
That's a good question. In the beginning, it was super exhilarating because my hobby is validated with money. So it's great in the beginning because, again, the first book I wrote mainly for myself. And the following books, I kind of have to keep in mind of like the influence that I have already. So I can't simply write stuff that might be harmful for people when they read it.
Because now you have a reader.
Yeah. Some sort of responsibility of like the content that I create. But the thing is, I'm quite okay with that still because I still express myself in different ways, like drawing and sports and all these other things. So yeah, it did feel a little bit of a job at one point because I started to publish other people as well.
How many authors you have to publish?
I have actually 6 under my publishing house. I'm gonna like publish another one end of this year.
Okay, cool.
His name is Justin. And
is it all about like poetry?
Yeah,
all sorts of different things.
It's poetry and short stories, but I have one non-fiction book which is an activity book on how to write poetry and short stories. That was used in schools for a while, in clubs, book clubs, and I'm launching my first novel, my first sci-fi novel.
A long form.
So I'm quite excited.
Can you say the name of the novel? Is it too much of a spoiler?
No, I can say because it's actually an extension of a short story in my medicine, my latest book. It's called Pseudo Immortals.
Wow.
And yeah,
Pseudo Immortal.
Yeah, it's basically revolves around biotechnology, bioethics, politics, comedy, romance, action.
That's my type of genre, actually.
Yeah, it's I try to make it it is, I hope it's an intelligent read, and I hope to make it also somewhat educational when people read it, on like what are the current advancements. So a lot of my tech life is infused inside that book as well.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm quite excited to launch it. And it's funny also because I'm actually originally a comedic writer, I can call myself. I'm not actually very miserable and depressed like my poems.
No, okay. We'll talk about the book later. I was just asking back to the question is like, so all this time, like, you know, since 2016 to now, you started alone, and then now you have 6 authors.
Yeah.
So now you're running a company. Are you the only one running a company, or like you have like a department or like peoples to run different things?
Yeah, so I try to keep my company super lean and like one person do everything kind of thing. So
So you are the person.
Yeah, so I basically strategize the PR and marketing and the product, like how it's supposed to be, and I read the manuscripts and everything and review. And then I have interns that come in and go to help out. And then my mom helps with the taxes and like the very important stuff and numbers and logistics and all of that. So I also pay her a salary, like.
Oh, but you managed to keep the cost pretty low, I guess.
Yeah, and I really hire on a freelance basis. Like I will hire Kyle, for example.
Yeah.
For videography, photography, sometimes I hire a PR agent to help as well. So it's really when I launched a book, then only I would get these people in, makeup artists, all of that, case by case basis.
Wow, that's a lot of work on your end.
Yeah.
So you managed to balance it out, like the creating part and the running business part.
Yeah.
What is the trick on that? A lot of people are off balance, you know, doing this.
It's true. I think I owe it a lot to reading a lot of self-help books, I think, on like how to manage my
time,
myself, my brain, my time, especially. I gave this talk on a TED Talk previously on UITM. You can find it, because they were also curious of like how you balance and how you separate. So there are 2 types of people, like the segregators and the integrators.
Okay.
So segregators like me, we really are very disciplined with like how we segregate time, and we do not go in and out of different things often. But integrators, they don't really have a fixed time. So for example, let's say I have my PlayStation work from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I'm very strict about that. I do not do any other work. And after work, then only I do like the publishing stuff.
I see.
But sometimes some people, like, they're in their work like 8 to 10, and then sometimes they go out and do their thing, and then they come back. So for me, I have a problem with that, because I get into flow and I just focus on something and I really get something done. So if I kind of cut that flow, the quality is not as good.
Yes, I think I shared that part sentiment with you too, because I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of us, you know, we are doing in the more creatives, you know, works.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that too. Like I have to be in the flow.
Yeah.
Like if I edit the videos, like you're gonna give me a whole day to do that thing. Like if I do 2 hours here, 2 hours there, I can't do. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that part is important. So identify which type of person you are maybe helps you to build your schedule or your goal upon it.
Yeah. How you work best, I guess. And from that you also can communicate to everybody around you, like what is the expectation. So they don't think that you're like lazy or anything. It's just how I work.
True, yeah.
So
there's one time I feel like I cannot work during the day, like in the early morning. I try to become the early morning person, but I just find that I'm way better in midnight, you know.
Night owl.
Yeah, just like, okay, let's just focus on the night part, you know. It's productive at the night, so I don't force myself to wake up in the morning to do something, to become someone I'm not, maybe. Yeah, so that part is like, because society tells us like, oh, you know, the 5 a.m. club, every CEO do that, you have to copy this club.
Run 5 km.
Run 5 km, blah, blah, blah. I think this kind of thing is just too oversimplified stuff. I feel like. So really follow your own pace and identify which person you are. It helps a lot.
I parent myself a lot, actually, because I love doing multiple things because as a person, I get bored easily. That's why I like to do different types of handicrafts and all of that, and work on different creative stuff and exercise all parts of my creativity. And so sometimes I also tell this a lot to people that I also plan my procrastination time. So I never try to like go beyond like a certain hour because I usually visualize the consequences very frequently, and I scare myself with it. So I scare myself into doing things.
Yeah. That's a good way to counter your procrastination.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I usually do. I'm very strict with my time.
Okay, that's cool. That's something I learned. So about the business part, right? Like now you're running 6 authors. So do they come to you, or do you find them?
So we get like manuscript submissions every week, and then we have our intern to screen through them. So if it's good, then we just send them a letter and say like, hey, are you interested in working with us and us representing your book? And that's quite simple. Then we sign a contract, and then that's it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So most of them or all of them are like new, or just someone who already are?
Timothy Joshua in Singapore, he already published himself.
Okay.
But we picked up his book because it was great, and also he has some following on
I see.
socials.
Okay.
And he basically did quite well in Philippines as well because we have our books there.
Ah.
But so far, all the authors that we've been picking up, they're all super brand new. Some of them, they never even shared their work to like anyone else before. So
Wow.
we had to do, as a company, we had to do a lot of education also on like how to carry yourself, what to type to readers, let's say when they approach you, and what is
personal branding stuff.
Yeah, personal branding, and also like how to title your book so it's like SEO friendly.
Yes.
All this kind of marketing industry stuff that you definitely won't learn in school.
Yes.
So we have to talk to them about it, and like how to format the book properly, which font to use. So it's a lot of advising that we do.
Which font you use? Like, is there a specific why is it you choose some font?
It's
just a branding thing, or like more psychological thing?
It's actually a very standard font, like Shonar Bangla or Times New Roman, and stuff like that.
So mostly a serif or
serif font. So if you Google it, also they'll kind of recommend you those because it's just easier to read, and the spacings and everything also is pretty standard. So
I see.
Try to follow.
Yeah, you have Google to help lah.
Yeah, ChatGPT now.
So how many books you on behalf of this publisher? How many books published together?
Wow, I need to count. I think close to 13 books now. The past 9 years.
And yourself got a few bestseller, is it?
Yes, all of it is the bestseller.
All of it?
Yeah.
Wow. All of yours, or all of the books?
And also all of theirs, except I think 1 or 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you can say like it's a 80% or 85% bestsellers rate in the books that we publish.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's organic, so we don't buy back our books. I know some people do that to put their name on the list.
I mean, it happens in the music industry, or even cinema. Right? It happens too. But how much can you buy? Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I don't have that much money to like do that.
Okay, coming from a business perspective, like, what's the risk of that? It's like, before you do that, do you think about like, what if I cannot sell anything? Or you just like, let's just do it and see how? Or you never thought about that before?
Before I published, even before I started my company, obviously I did some risk analysis first. So I looked at, okay, people like Lang Lev books, and I feel like I can write a little bit better or like as good as her. So I just think, okay, let's just get a market share from her books. And so I try to maintain it at that standard and hope for the best that it's good enough for people to pick it up. Because even right now, the readership in Malaysia, it's really good. Last time it was like just 1 book a year per person, but now it's like 7 or 8. They have book clubs now, Bookstagram, and it's super strong, like the community.
Sometimes you would think that, like what your friends said before, Malaysia don't read. So we do read, just that we are not in that readers bubbles, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. But a lot of my readers are actually non-book readers, and they only read 1 or 2 books a year, and they picked up mine because whenever I publish something, even for the books that I publish as well, we always keep in mind of people that don't read. So that's why when we publish books, the poems are like short and easy to understand, but it has depth and layers, so that people that do read books, they also enjoy it. So we cover like quite a big range of people.
Like I'm not really okay, because when I read, I mostly read those how-to books, very
Non-fiction
one. I'm like very boring things like how to marketing 101. This There's more of my filmmaker friend also say like you have to read some fiction too, because that's what you do. So it's like, okay, I started to do that. It's like, okay, I'm still learning. I try to do more fiction stuff. But fiction stuff, talking about writing. So I do write some for films.
Yeah.
So let's say with short stories, a narrative for commercials, I try to do a longer writing.
Yeah.
Like for films. I do also read some script, not books, but movie scripts. Like I read the Harry Potter scripts, but not the Harry Potter book.
Yeah.
So I find that's a very big difference, like movie scripts and books as well.
Yeah.
But talking about creativity itself, when you write, like where's your inspiration comes from, and how do you world build your stuff? Like right now you have a
right?
coming up, right? I'm sure there's a lot of world building.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Actually, when I start writing a novel and like long form stuff is very, very difficult actually, because you need to remember a lot of things. So I always create a fact sheet.
Fact sheet, yeah.
Yeah, of like who's the characters, what their age is, how they look like and everything, so they can refer. Even the editors that come in, they also can refer. So I really depend on that a lot while I'm writing. So I've also written some scripts also in the past for ads and everything. And it's very, you can say it is somewhat similar as well, because even in long form you have a lot of dialogue.
Yes.
It's just that you have to describe the scene a lot more compared to like script, when you're there to like verbalize how the screen is, and then you kind of give creativity to the director to create the scene, rather than in the book you want it exactly how it's like that. So it's just more of like the purpose of like how much creativity you want to give the people who read it. So for world building and also reading fiction and non-fiction, it will definitely help build that library in your head. When you are reading fiction and non-fiction, because even my book, a lot of it is based on real life stories. So it feels, when you read it, it feels actually like a non-fiction. So I feel like a really good fiction book would feel very real, and a really good non-fiction book will feel very easy to read, like a story.
Oh, I like that.
So they always have to have elements from each other. And I know a lot of people find it difficult to imagine when they read fiction books. So yeah, it's mostly just starting small, starting easy, something that you really like, and it's fun. For me, it was Twilight.
Okay.
So from there I grow. I don't straight away go to like Lord of the Rings straight away. That's super hard. Like I was struggling a little bit on how to imagine. So there's a whole lot of things that needs to be considered. But if you write stuff that is in the present day, it's very easy, because you can just refer to things, the rules that already exist in this world. And all the science and all the gravity or whatever that exists in this world. But let's say if like sci-fi or anything, you have to like really imagine all the minute details, what currency they use, what language. Credits. Like what language they say, like what do they wear, and how does the road look like, how does the stones look like. So it's really a lot of effort, a lot of imagination. So I think you have to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah, that's the fun part, I guess. Science fiction. I myself is a big sci-fi fan. So I very much agree with what you just say. Good fiction world has to feel real enough that wait, this is non-fiction.
Yeah, it feels
it feels so real. It's like Star Wars and everything. Wow. Okay. Talking about writing, how many characters you currently, can you say that, like how many
I can
like
talk
the
about
major characters, like...
So the major characters for the novel that I'm writing is Sheila Patel and also Flynn Mers.
Okay.
So in the future, race will blend into everyone. So everyone will be interracial and in the end, everyone will just be brown.
Okay.
Okay, there's no like fair, dark,
Yep.
and everything. So that's how I see the future.
Mm.
And their AI helps them a lot.
Okay.
So obviously in the future, as you can see now, we have lots of AI.
Yes.
And there is a big catastrophe that happened that launches them into an investigation that they need to find who is the villain behind all of the big catastrophe. Wow. It involves a lot of micro politics that then expand to like macro politics and then world problems.
Oh, that sounds like my kind of...
So yeah, and then it talks about the overpopulation of the nation. How does the characters turn from a good person to a bad person and turn to a good person again to a bad person, and you go through their whole journey of like how similar people will still be in the future, but with different environments and circumstances. So yeah, and it's very funny and it's very lighthearted. I actually read a lot about CRISPR and how they adjust the genes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because this whole book is about that as well. It's about
a lot of biology.
About a person that works in a place that builds babies from factories. It's a lot of gene modification and like all of bionics as well. And how does that interplay with one another?
Sounds very huge. Like because you're introducing something very new, like more than what we interpret humans anymore. It's like
and I'm also trying to relate to the current readers who are very excited about fantasy romance.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm actually going into this field where it's not very normal to have a sci-fi romance. So a sci-fi romance action that I hope can like intrigue their excitedness, their appetite for it.
This kind of reminds me of Dune. I don't know why. Like there's a lot of...
Yeah, but Dune is very serious.
Right? Oh, so yours more way like...
Yeah, mine's more like...
Okay.
Like you can kind of parallel to Marvel humor in a way.
Okay.
So it's like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Kind of
okay. Okay.
But Dune's politics.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like politics stuff. Recently I just I just keep rewatching I'm not sure, have you watched this series called Andor?
Oh no, I didn't.
It's like very heavy, very heavy Star Wars. It's like it's not like the children Star Wars. It's really adult politics. So I was like, that caught me. Was like, wait, I was very interested into politics. So I love this kind of very heavy
makes
thing,
you really think, I guess. Like how far can humans go and like willing to go to do certain things for their own self-interest or like for others. So yeah.
So you're also a big Game of Thrones fan, maybe?
I'm okay because I didn't really read the book and I kind of see a few episodes here and there. Because I'm actually more of a book person than a TV person. Because like TV is like a bit slow for me, so I always read books faster.
Oh, you read book even faster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, TV have to wait for the seasons to come out.
Yeah, of course, it's super frustrating. And then they do a lot of looking at each other, which I usually forward. Like, but it's part of the whole experience. But yeah, I think I just ADHD or I don't have enough patience.
So there's a lot of adopted script nowadays, we see like from books to series. One of them I'm watching is Apple TV Silo.
Yeah.
It's really good, but it's from the book. Something called the what? I forgot what's that. Yeah, it's also a sci-fi futuristic things like that.
Yeah.
And then what else we have, like books?
I like Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
Yeah, a very good adaptation. Actually.
Yeah, recently I see quite more and more, and talking to my filmmaker friends also, like they're just saying nowadays it's like, oh, you don't need to think of a good story just to take a book.
It starts with us as well.
Ends with it. So just take that book and then just adapt into a movie. Then you got a movie.
That is my dream.
It's like, so you were also like, maybe in the future you're open to writing a movie script, maybe?
Yes. Because it's part of my school also last time in writing scripts. So I really enjoy doing that. And the way I write Pseudo Immortals also, it's a way that it can be adapted to a PlayStation co-op game. Yeah. So you can co-op and like try to like solve problems together. Have you talked to PlayStation about this before? Yeah, I did, but I will see how the novel goes out. So it can be adapted to film, to game, to TV also. So I wrote it in a way that it's easy for scriptwriters to pick up.
That is very inspiring from you. Like you work in PlayStation as a what again?
Production manager.
Production manager. So
Yeah.
you manage?
Yeah, I manage a team
What kind of production steps?
Oh, it's like end-to-end AAA game production. So from
In Malaysia.
Yeah, in Malaysia. So, but I work with UK and US and China.
What
So
game is? Can you say anything? Or the one that done already, like
the one that's done.
Your portfolio or something.
We worked to support Helldivers a little bit.
Oh, that's a player there.
Yeah. For the marketing.
Okay.
But we also do a lot of game UI UX for China games that is going to be launched soon.
Oh.
They call it China Hero projects.
But it's AAA also.
Yeah. So my team of 10, we do a range of multiple things like product UI UX for internal products.
Okay.
And then we have game UI UX, and then we have graphic design for branding, and then we have also marketing stuff that we do for PlayStation Store. So whatever campaign you see on PlayStation Store, it's came from my team.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot. It's like 10 people now. We started with 2 in January last year.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, because video games movies are all my favorites. So what's your favorite games?
Before I say my favorite games, I just want to like highlight what you said.
Yeah.
Movies and games are very similar. You are creating a movie for people.
Yeah.
Because if it's a single player narrative, but if it's a live service, Helldivers thing, it's also like just you log in and you play and then you just go rounds. It's in the middle of like creating a tech product and also a movie. Because the tech product is very rigid, like Grab app. It's just like you have to use the buttons that people understand, but also you need to make it as immersive as a movie. So it's like a bridge between games is a bridge between product apps and movies, like in the middle. So my favorite games is Uncharted series.
Yes, I love that too.
I like Horizon Zero Dawn also. Their office is really nice. I went to their office.
Their office in wow.
Yeah, I went to their Folly studio and they showed me the coconuts for the horse.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, very cool.
Like oh wow, you play both lah, the new one also.
I didn't play. I'm currently playing the new one.
Okay, yeah.
So I
heard they are making into a movie or series. Like live action.
So I'm not sure. I need to
I love that game. The world is so good.
Yeah, the world is super detailed. It's so crazy.
Although the gameplay is for me it's a bit difficult. Like a lot of skill. Like
they do a lot.
Aim really good. Yeah, I just put in the normal, the easiest difficulty.
Yeah. I think they aim for like the people that are finishers and like completers. They really hardcore want to finish the game and get platinum trophy or something.
I might gonna replay that because I play that with the easiest difficulties.
Then you're gonna try to challenge yourself.
After I tried Black Myth Wukong, I was like, okay, maybe.
Oh yeah, Black Myth Wukong.
That one was also really hard. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not really into this very hard game before, but after that, it's like, okay, maybe I can give it a shot.
But a lot of people, they just play like me also. I just play for the story. Because again, it's like a movie.
Yes.
And you don't want to like be so stressed out because you're so stressed out in real life. You go to a game to de-stress yourself, not to become more stressed. So for me, I think it's no issue like just going in and just playing the easiest difficulty because you just want to relax.
Oh, so you visited them in Amsterdam? Yeah,
I did. A very cool office.
Yeah, good.
Very cool people also. And I had lunch at their cafeteria.
So that was how long ago?
It was just last year.
Oh, just last year.
Yeah, in August, I think.
So I was surprised like in Malaysia, you work here, but you work with the team that they are overseas to make AAA games. Yeah. Because I think, is it from you for a long time ago, you say like they do hire people here to do like a lot of modelings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's visual arts. So visual arts was
they still do that a lot
earlier. Right? Yeah, they came in a bit earlier than me, because they hired me just to build this team. Because on the creative side, it's more of like supporting the 3D modeling and animation and cinematics and all of that.
How long have you been working in PlayStation?
I just reached 1 year.
And then they are okay with you to do whatever outside your work, like
your company. They let me be autonomous because even my bosses and all, they play music and then they put their stuff on Spotify and like they have their own hobbies too.
Damn. Wow, a bunch of talented people, man.
Creatives,
yeah. But it's not really not easy. Like what you say, like you want to balance the work part and the creative part, and you're still writing a book, and your novel already finished, right?
Yeah.
So
Just editing
it's just
now.
printing or editing now. So you will go into printing and publish by
May,
May,
June, like that.
June. So you got everything sorted out. Just it will be where can we buy it?
Oh yeah, you can buy it in any bookstore.
At any bookstore.
Yeah, MPH, Kino,
Okay.
Popular,
Online.
Sutaya. Yeah, online.
So you're gonna
Shopee.
have a launch event, I guess?
Yeah, actually we're working with some book clubs actually to have physical events. So around, I think we have 2 events scheduled.
2 events scheduled.
Yeah.
In May lah. Cool.
Because we are targeting more KOC now.
Yeah.
KOL.
Yeah, KOC. I think KOC is the rising one lah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because again,
people will really love your stuff.
Yeah, because even in my Instagram, when I see my friends promoting random products that they don't even, I know they won't use, it just becomes like noise to me already.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you translate your books to other language?
Yes, I actually tried it because the Malay market in Malaysia, obviously, it's very big. So we translated Midnight Monologues, my first book. Yeah, into Malay.
But how difficult it is to translate
It is so crazy difficult.
Okay.
So we got Jack Malik. I met him by accident, actually. I saw his work, and he actually studied translation in college, actually. So it's legit. He went through lectures and assignments just for translation because he loves both English and Malay a lot. And when he reads my book, I use a lot of idioms that only make sense in English.
Yep.
So he had to be very good with his peribahasa, his idioms in Malay also, to use that in that context of my poem when he translates it, and also make it rhyme.
Yeah, the making it rhyme part. What? How?
Yeah, he's just very, very talented. I feel like people should buy the book and study how it was translated, because we really went back and forth, and I told him it has to be also layman enough for anyone to understand from any level of Malay. Like Chinese people, they can read it and understand also.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to use Malay idioms. For example, for English, we use burning a bridge.
Yep.
But in Malay, there is no burning of the
bakar
like bakar jejentan or something lah. So he has to use berpatah kayu ara, batu api or something like that, like charcoal. So then he explained that in Malay, when you break charcoal, you cannot even make it into anything anymore, because charcoal, it's like ash.
The final form.
Yeah, the final form, and it's totally unredeemable. And that's how he got it from like the Malay kind of perspective. And then from that, he has to rhyme it in the following sentence. Yeah, and I'm very, very happy with it. And I hope like I can publish. And
that's crazy. That's not just one poem, but
the whole book.
The whole book.
Short stories also.
Oh my God. I'm very curious now. I was like, I wanted to see how it compares.
Yeah, you should read it side by side, and it's
because I remember reading your Daylight. Some of the way you write is very interesting. It's like it's just a complete sentence, and then just
the diminishing poem.
And then become one word.
Yeah,
and then it become more words again.
To also very well.
Oh, it's called a diminishing poem.
Yeah, right? Diminishing poems.
Is it your original idea, or is it exist?
I actually took it as like a challenge from Timothy Joshua on social media. I think he was the one that started it.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what, let me try it. So I started to write a lot of it too. So I'm gonna like credit him, of course, of this diminishing poem. But I don't really much write it anymore. I write longer poems now, because people like to like go on a journey and all of that, and it's actually easier to write than shorter ones. So I've been writing a lot more, because I'm actually quite happy now in my relationship, so I don't have a lot of muses of being
You are engaged, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But thanks for the manifestation. I'm gonna like cut this bit out, and I'm gonna send it to Leander.
Oh man, okay. Soon, maybe. Who knows, right? Oh, okay. Maybe I it's someone else, I think. I saw the ring.
I love the manifestation.
Yeah, soon. And I was saying, where do you get your inspiration mostly from?
Oh yes, I forgot to answer that question actually. Just talking to you, talking to everyone in my life, my colleagues, reading books, watching movies. But of course, I'm very, very particular about copying and plagiarizing people. So I 100% try my best to always check also if like is there anyone else that wrote this before.
I see.
So sometimes, mostly at night, I will get it when I'm about to sleep.
Okay.
I think there's something about like being in the waking world and like not waking world that gives you inspiration. That's why my book is called Midnight Monologues at first, because I actually write at night and then I talk to myself to check the rhythm and the rhyme. So it's like a monologue with myself in the midnight. That's why it's called like that. I still do that too, actually.
Yeah, I do that a lot when I'm driving.
Yeah.
So it's kind of giving me a whole inspiration of like, let's just. People tend to share a lot when we drive because you're forced being in the same space with me now.
Yeah.
So we gotta talk something.
I just open the
So we will like very consciously like go and so-called dig up some stories of people, like ask a lot of questions, or you just let it flow.
Yeah, I really just let it flow and see how it goes, because it feels quite exhausting to like want to create content all the time. But I know it makes sense for like people on TikTok or Reels. They have to make content every day to keep their audience engaged. So that one is very exhausting. But for me, I still want to make it like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't really force myself to do it. And I post a little bit less poetry nowadays because a lot of my creative energy is going towards the novel now.
Okay.
So that's why it's hard to post snippets of the novel in my social media, because out of context it doesn't mean anything.
I see.
So that's why I'm also trying to express my art in different ways. Trying to go into fine art as well.
Oh, are you going to fine art?
Trying, because I'm just super inspired by like all the museums I've been visiting recently. So I'm gonna try that also.
Cool. So when you are creating, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how writing, because for filmmaking is a very deep visual thing.
Yeah.
We always have so-called a visual style.
Yeah.
So is there a writing style of you? Like when we
yeah.
read, oh, this is so Charissa. It's like
So when I let my proofreader Sharon Nelson read my novel to proofread, she was like, "Wow, you have a very interesting, unique voice."
Voice in your words.
Yeah, in my words. In a way that I always, for example, let's say Lord of the Rings. When you read it, it's super descriptive and it rarely has a lot of dialogue. It's mostly like the character goes to this place to pick up a box. Compared to mine, it's more of like, I'll make it into a dialogue. Like, I'm gonna go pick up the box.
Okay.
And then it's very layman and straight to the point. And I do have descriptions of the scenes and like everything, but I leave a lot of it to the reader to imagine. So for me, my idea of the book is to have the reader collaborate with me on their idea of the book, and it becomes more personal to them when they read it, because they are the creators. They are the ones that imagine their perfect man and like the perfect situation. So I really avoid describing too much in the book, and that's the reason why people always say books are better than movies and stuff like that, because they are the ones that created the story from their perspective and it's perfect to them, compared to like movies where everything is already laid out. And you just have to accept it. Like you don't have a choice. So you look at it and like, okay, this is whether you can accept it or not. And some people really do it so well, like Wicked and all of that. So I still really appreciate like directors who are really, really good in just giving people things that they can never imagine, and it's much better than whatever they can imagine.
Yeah, it's that is very difficult.
Yeah, it is. And if you fall short just a little bit of their imagination, they think like, oh, it's horrible. Yeah. So I feel like movies is way, way, way harder for sure, because like there's just so much more logistics. Writing is just at home. Yeah, whatever. Just write it up.
Movie is kind of more like a collaborative work. You cannot make a movie alone. It's almost impossible. But Yeah, sometimes I envy also like a lot of like writers or even like musicians.
Yeah.
It's possible, way more possible to just immerse and then just be very like, I want this. But in movies, when I say I want this, the producer gonna say, no, we don't have the money. I want the car to crash in here. Sorry, we can't. So
Yeah.
can we do a bicycle? It's like, things like that. A lot of real world financial restrictions.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And
And for every short decision.
So that's like the beauty of like writing, I think. That
Yeah.
it's just you and the computer.
I used to write like Chinese literature, like not just read, but I write also.
Wow.
But that is completely for fun. I used to love that a lot. Like just also write kind of science fiction thing.
Oh, I don't know.
Time travel stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard to write time travel.
Yeah. That I like a half finished story. Like wait, kind of too many loose ends to tie.
Yeah. Too many loopholes, too many paradox.
It's like no.
That's why even I didn't even touch it at all. I feel like I don't know anything. I'm not Rick and Morty level.
Oh, Rick and Morty is good. Yeah.
They really,
Morty, yeah.
Yeah, they just really know how to handle it.
Yeah, I think it's a whole different. There should be some sort of a formula, I guess, to do things. Because I really believe when you do something that do long enough, you will somehow come up with a formula, like what you should do, how do you do that. So what is your formula on writing a
novel
or piece of a poem?
Oh, okay. For novel, I really force myself to write 400 words a day. Like no matter if I'm upset or lazy or whatever, I just sit down, write a crappy one. So even though it's crappy, I go in there and then eventually I'll fix it. Because again, I'm still building out the whole stories first.
Okay.
So I really depend on my discipline to just really execute this. And I try to give myself as least possible excuses as possible to just do things. For poetry, I just do it whenever I feel inspired to do. Because again, it's not my main thing right now that I'm focusing on. But previously, when I had a cadence of like 2 poems a week, I would really just force myself to do it too. But if I don't like it, I don't post it. But I always have a lot of ideas because whenever I do things around, like throughout the day, I'll also keep little notes in my phone.
Yeah.
And then they'll always work as prompts for me to work afterwards. So it's easier definitely for poems. But for novel, I can get it why a lot of people keep saying they want to write a book, but they don't.
Yeah.
Because they get they self-sabotage with their perfectionism. Yeah. So I am very okay with like being horrible in the beginning.
So it means that you just write as the story unfolds, or do you like, I have a very clear act 1, act 2, act 3, act 4?
Wow.
Every consequences, because for writing a script, we so have a formula. We have to have like a plot out, everything, then we go detail. So we at least have to have everything kind of clear in our mind first.
Yeah.
I mean that's the formula lah. So, but some very talented people that they just don't go there.
It is so crazy actually because I do have a isi kandungan, right? Like in school you have like the intro and conclusion and all of that. But I did write that for my story. But for some reason when I start writing my novel, it feels like I'm just a translator writing out the story. It starts to write itself. I don't know if it makes sense, but
wait, what do you mean it starts to write?
Yeah, so when I start writing like this chapter or this following chapter, I feel like I'm not creating it anymore. I feel like I am just a person that is transcribing somebody's life.
But
that already existed. It doesn't feel like I'm always consciously creating something. It's like the story just writes itself, like the flow.
So it's a good thing or the bad?
Yeah, it's a really good thing because it feels so natural and I feel like I'm not even brainstorming anything. The story just flows super nicely and like all the little things that come up, they just fill in the spaces. And it's just like a very scary thing also that the story just comes to you and just reveals itself to you.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it becomes, I think maybe it's part of flow as well. Like,
So that happened to you a lot.
yeah, when I was writing a novel, I think when I see this, I was checking as well, like other authors, do they feel the same way? And it's pretty true. Like the characters, they just take a life of their own. And then when you start writing, it's like, oh, the character wouldn't do this, they will do that. And then they will make their own decisions. And because you've already created this character so well and their personality and like what they will do. So like all you do is you create the situation only in the book. And for some reason, it will just write itself.
So you just put the character into the situation.
Yeah. And then from whatever their personality that has already been built, they will just react to that situation.
Yeah,
and then,
I get it. I get it.
Yeah. And then I would, as a director myself, I would put in more problems for this character.
Yep.
And based on that character, they will again react accordingly. So I don't need to plan for this character to do something. It just comes to me like that.
So you always start with character first.
Character, like very strong character building.
So you build your characters, then only you throw them into a story.
Yeah.
Some people goes the other way. Like there's some I talk to some film director that they just do the story first.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of like, oh, this guy will be here. This guy will be there. So the other way is like what you did, no? So I also I think more comfortable on this. Like have the character first and then throw them into situations.
Yeah.
And then create problems for them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing that I've never talked a lot about actually. But what goes on in my head when I'm writing the novel.
Yeah, I'm also quite curious about how like particular writers like you, the thought process of writing the stories. Because sometimes like I say, the longer the stories become, the more loose ends it have, and then sometimes how do I divert the attentions or like focusing on where do I need to cut this thing?
Oh yeah.
Where do I need to talk about something else?
Yeah.
Because you usually have like a few characters doing the same thing at the same time. A lot of all this stuff lah. But I feel like a writing book is that's one thing that in movie we cannot do, is that movies we have a very limited run time.
Yeah.
Like 120 minutes. That's 120 minutes. So maybe in the book you have more freedom on like I can just write like 300 page, 400 page.
Exactly. 1,000 pages is okay.
There's 1,000 pages.
There is so many.
Yeah. So I think if we more than like 2 hours, it will probably become 2 films, things like that.
Yeah. It's quite similar to filmmaking actually.
Yes.
Because if I read a book that's too long, also it gets so draggy, and then I just will close the book and I don't want to read it anymore. Like for example, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It was a book originally, then now it became a TV series in Netflix. And the book is always like one perspective or two perspectives sometimes. And how they always cut it at a chapter is like always a cliffhanger. So you just keep reading it again and again. So it's quite similar practices of like how TV series do things. Cliffhangers at the end of chapters.
Yeah.
As for plugging up plot holes and everything, that's why I always have my fact sheet. And I always refer to it all the time and make sure I leave notes in certain big areas of the story. And, like,
so you have your own mind room kind of.
Yeah, mind map or whatever. And then like there are times that I even misspell the characters' names in different chapters. Okay. So I guess that's the good thing about Google Docs. You can just like Control F and then sign it.
How do you name your character? Just random or like?
Based on their jobs, I guess.
Okay.
I try to refer a lot of it from past history as well. Because a lot of how people are named, like your surname and everything, is actually from what you did as your family did. Like you make carpets, so your last name will be a carpet maker. Yeah. So like for example, like my boyfriend Leonard de Laporte, de Laporte is the door because his ancestors protected this door in Syria. So like they took over this door of castle or something like that.
Wow.
So I try to give like some sort of meaning to like the characters that I write about. Like Sheila Patel, she has a bit of like an Indian ancestry.
Yes, sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit of like Indian influences also inside. But the thing is, not that many anymore because culture will be kind of wiped out in the future.
Yeah.
A bit sad, but that's true.
But yeah, I read somewhere it's saying maybe in about 3,000 years we will have only one language. Something like that. Yeah.
You're always optimizing all the time. So even like you can see with religion and all of that too, being all streamlined already.
Yeah. And we will all become one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it will birth new problems.
Yeah, we all become one, but as humans, we still want to be unique. So we
Yes.
create our own caste.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So human psychology also is very interesting to me.
Your story is very much about that.
Yeah, that too. How everybody is actually already one people, but humans are like purposefully making themselves different and making themselves higher rank than others, like synthetically.
How long in the future are we talking about?
Like you said, 3,000, but maybe even earlier. I don't know.
I see.
But we'll be probably be dead already. Like.
Whoa.
So we don't need to experience all of this, but probably in the future, I don't know. We'll see in the future if like 1,000 years they read my book, whether anything comes true or not.
Your book will become Bible, but
Yeah, who knows?
1,000 years now.
Pseudo immortal.
Yeah.
Like Charissa, the Saint Charissa Ong.
How many pages you?
This novel, 300 plus.
Oh, okay, it was okay.
Yeah.
300 plus. Yeah, when it came out, we can buy it in all the major bookstores.
Yeah,
I never see sci-fi coming from you. I'm not sure. Maybe it's, I would say like maybe a rom-com. I don't know, like
it is, right?
Something like that. But I was like, whoa, sci-fi. But it's still very light-hearted kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, and because it's very related to my day-to-day work, which is tech, right? And a lot of people don't know that about me, that I am actually in tech and doing UI UX and all of these things.
Yeah.
And I have a huge passion for bioethics in general, and medicine and like how things work on the human body, human mind. Actually, I wasn't really sure to debut as a sci-fi rom adventure writer or like a history fiction or adventure or crime or anything, because in all of my books, Daylight Dialogues, Midnight Monologues, My Medicine, it's filled with different genres of stories.
Yeah,
it has nursery rhymes and everything. I was still
every is a single standalone story.
Yeah, I was just exploring all the genres and I was just challenging myself if I can do it all. But again, I resorted back to sci-fi because one of the readers, they really liked pseudo-immortals in My Medicine.
Okay.
And just personally, I feel like I'm most myself with the genre. Yeah. So I can be funny and I can throw in all my dry dad jokes in there and my super dank jokes. And I hope people can get it.
So thanks so much. Today you share a lot with us about your journey. So if anyone watching want to find out more about her, her Instagram or like social media, and then be sure to stay tuned on the book. What's the exact launching date? Do you have that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because I might be in US here and there, so I don't know.
Yeah, super immortal.
Middle of the year for sure.
Middle of the year. Yeah, okay. In around May, June.
Yes.
So keep an eye on it, and then we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.